DJI has just released the DJI Mic3. This is DJI's most advanced mini wireless microphone system yet. It's designed for creators, vloggers, and professionals who want great audio quality but want a compact, easy-to-use setup. It is also part of the DJI ecosystem, so if you have one of the latest DJI cameras, then this new microphone is designed to work seamlessly with those cameras as well. I have been testing it out for about a month now, and in this video I'm going to show you what you need to know. By the way, the audio in this video is recorded using the DJI Mic3 with no adjustment at all. So when you are watching this review, you can also listen to the audio quality of the DJI Mic3 yourself. And before we start, the usual disclaimers, DJI has sent me a sample unit of the DJI Mic3. I don't have to return it after the review. But as usual, this review is completely independent and I will share with you things I like and don't like about this microphone system. There are a few different combos available for the DJI Mic3. The one DJI sent me is the one with 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, and a charging case. I believe this will be the most popular kit as it includes most of the accessories that you will need. There's also a single receiver, single transmitter kit that doesn't include the charging case. And you can also just buy the transmitter or the receiver separately as well. The receiver for the DJI Mic3 is very similar to the DJI Mic2. It is pretty compact, it has a color touch screen and also a control knob at the front. DJI's user interface and menu system has always been excellent, and that's the same case here. The receiver is really easy to use and adjust settings. I also like how you can mount the receiver onto your camera's Hotshoe facing either forward or backward. So whether you are filming in front or behind the camera, it will still works great. The Mic3's transmitter is much smaller than its predecessor. It has a square-shaped design, very similar to the DJI Mic Mini. Each transmitter weighs just 16 grams, much lighter than the Mic2, which was 28 grams. It has a magnetic clip on the back and also comes with a little magnet, so you can choose whether you just want to clip it onto your shirt or use the magnetic mount. There are 2 sets of windscreens included, one gray color and one black. That way you can pick the one that better matches your outfit. Or if you lose one, you've got a backup as well. We'll do some outdoor testing later in this video, so you can hear how the microphone and the windscreen performs in real-world outdoor situation. Even though the transmitter is very light and mostly made of plastic, it actually feels surprisingly premium and high quality. If you have followed my channel for a while, you would know I have tested a lot of microphones from different brands. This DJI Mic3 gives me the most premium feeling so far. I also really like the small built-in motor inside the transmitter. It gives you a little vibration feedback, for example, when you start or stop internal recording. It's a small detail, but it really improves the user experience. It makes you feel more connected to the microphone and know exactly what it is doing. It makes me wonder why other brands don't do this. As I mentioned earlier, the version I received comes with a charging case, and I love this charging case. First of all, when you hold it, it feels really nice and premium. But the best thing is, not only you can store the receiver and the transmitters inside the case, you can even have the windscreen still attached to the transmitters when you put it into this charging case. And not only that, you can also fit the USB adapter, the magnets for the transmitters, and even the 3.5mm cable there as well. So this charging case is pretty much all you need to carry when you go out and do some filming. You can store pretty much everything inside this carry case. This is way better than most of its competitors. For example, the Hollyland Lark Max 2 that we have just reviewed recently, we couldn't fit most of the accessories inside the charging case. You need to store them separately in the carry bag. As I mentioned in my Lark Max 2 review, that was kind of messy. The The difference in the charging case design is something that is hard for potential buyers to notice if you are just comparing specs and numbers. But for me, a well-designed charging case is super important. When I'm out shooting, I might take the microphone out, record something, and then put it back 20 to 40 times in a single day or even more. So if I can save 30 seconds each time by just not having to remove and reattach the windscreen and not have to dig around in my carry bag looking for it, that's easily 20 minutes saved in a single day. Plus, if I don't have to remove the windscreen all the time, then there's less chance of losing it. So a well-designed charging case just makes the whole system much easier and more enjoyable to use and carry. I do have a little complaint about the charging case though, is that the two magnets for the transmitters can easily stick on each other when you put them back into the case. It's because their storage slots are right next to each other, so the magnets often end up snapping together. The soft carry case that comes with the Mic 3 is also really nice. Not only it looks great, the fabric, zipper and the overall build feel very premium, and I think it looks pretty nice as well. The soft padding should offer good protection too. There are even some small hidden pockets inside. It's just a really well designed case. So overall, I'm really impressed by the design and quality of the DJI Mic 3. Apart from a few minor complaints, everything right down to the charging case and carry bag feels top quality. Okay, now let's do some audio tests. We'll start with an indoor test. All the audio is straight out of the camera with no adjustments. I'm currently recording audio with the DJI Mic 3 paired with the Panasonic Lumix S5 II. All the settings on the DJI Mic 3 are set to default. Testing 1 2 3. Kia ora, good morning everyone. Rich Wong here. Welcome back to the channel. To me, the DJI Mic 3 sounds natural, and that is with the mic just running on the default settings and without any EQ adjustments or post-processing at all. Okay, now let's do a bit of outdoor audio tests. I'm still recording audio using the DJI Mic 3, but I have now just installed the windscreen onto the microphone. One thing I have to say is I really love the windscreen design for the DJI Mic 3. It is very easy to install, and once you have installed it properly, it also stays there very securely as well. And also, one good thing is when you put it back into the charging case, you don't have to remove the windscreen. So yeah, I really love it. And it also seems to be pretty effective. Right now it's not really windy at all, so it's not really testing the windscreen. But I've used the mic in some other situation when it's a lot more windy and the windscreen seems to work really well. So the next thing I want to show you is the different EQ setting for the DJI Mic 3. So right now I'm recording using the regular EQ setting, and I have not done any EQ or any other post-processing in terms of audio. So what you're hearing right now is what the standard regular EQ would sound like. Okay, now I have just changed to the next setting, which is the rich EQ setting. So how does it sound like compared to before when I was using the regular setting? Okay, now I have just switched to the bright EQ setting. Can you hear any difference compared to the two previous EQ settings? Which one do you like the most? Using which setting does my voice sounds the best to you? I think the audio quality is also very good when recording outdoors. DJI Mic 3's different EQ settings are also a very handy feature. Okay, now let's go to another location and do some more tests. This time we'll go to an indoor food court, so there will be a lot of background noise. And you will probably hear some echo in the audio as well. Okay, the next thing I want to test is the DJI Mic 3's built-in noise cancellation feature. I've now moved to a pretty noisy place. I'm not too far away from a main road, and behind me is a food court, so you should be able to hear quite a bit of background noise. And now let me enable the DJI Mic 3's noise cancellation feature. Okay, now I have just enabled the noise cancellation feature. There are two different settings, and right now I'm using the basic setting, which is the weaker setting, but you should still be able to hear that the background noise is quite a bit less than what you're hearing before. Okay, now I have just changed the noise cancellation to strong. So the microphone should apply the more aggressive, stronger noise cancellation compared to the previous basic setting. The background noise should be more quiet now. So which setting do you like the most? Do you like the strong, regular, or without any noise cancellation? Alright, for a bit of comparison, I've just switched to using the HoloLens Lark Max 2 to record this audio. I've also enabled the noise cancellation feature, and right now the setting is 12 dB. So with the HoloLens Lark Max 2, if you enable noise cancellation, you can change the setting from 5 dB all the way to 25. So 12 is kind of like the in-between middle setting. And now I've just changed the noise cancellation setting to maximum, which is 25 dB. So it does apply a very, very strong aggressive noise cancellation, which I know would introduce a bit of audio artifact. The DJI Mic3 also has a lossless transmission mode, which I haven't enabled in any of the previous tests. When you turn it on, audio is transmitted in an uncompressed 48 kHz 24-bit format to the receiver, giving you the best possible audio quality. According to DJI, enabling this mode would noticeably improve audio quality when recording instruments like piano or violin. But since I'm not able to find someone to play some piano or violin for me, so I'm not going to do any testing on this feature. Now, you might wonder, if lossless transmission mode gives you better quality, why not just leave it on all the time? The reason is that enabling it would affect the transmission range. With the lossless mode turned off, which is the default setting, the DJI Mic3 can transmit up to 400 meters. That is when you have a clear line of sight with no interference. But when you have the lossless transmission mode enabled, DJI told me the transmission range would drop by about half. Most wireless microphones on the market these days uses the 2.4 GHz frequency band. But the DJI Mic3 is a little bit different. It supports both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. This allows the microphone to automatically hop between different frequencies, giving it more flexibility to avoid interference. But keep in mind, wireless frequency regulations differ from country to country. For example, when I attended the Panasonic Lumix S9 launch event in Japan last year, we were told to disable the 5 GHz transmission on our devices because it was not allowed under Japanese law. Also, because some regions or countries have different rules for indoor and outdoor wireless use, so there is an indoor-outdoor setting on the DJI Mic3. So make sure you select the correct mode based on where you are filming. That's also why the receiver would ask you to activate and connect to the DJI Mimo app when you took it out from the box. The microphone would use the app to detect which country or region that you are, and it will update the microphone settings to match the legal frequency bands for your location. And if you are traveling to another country with the Mic3, once you arrive your destination, you should reconnect the receiver to the DJI Mimo app. That way, the microphone will update and operate using the legal frequencies allowed in that location. Now, even though the DJI Mic3 is super compact and looks quite similar to the DJI Mic Mini, it's jam-packed with a lot of features, including some brand new features that we haven't seen on any DJI microphones before. So let's go through some of the most important features. Just like the DJI Mic 2, the Mic3 also supports internal 32-bit float recording. With standard integer recording, if your input gain is set too high, you risk clipping the audio, and once the audio is clipped, you can't recover it in post. On the other hand, if the gain is set too low, boosting the volume later would introduce a lot of noise. But with 32-bit float recording, you get an insanely wide dynamic range. So you don't have to worry about gain levels at all when you are recording. You can simply adjust the volume in post and you can still get clean, undistorted audio. Almost like you nailed the gain perfectly during recording. And since the audio is recorded directly on the transmitter, not the receiver, it acts as a perfect backup. So even if your wireless transmissions drops out or there are some big changes in audio levels, your recording is still safe. In fact, you could even just use the transmitters as a standalone 32-bit float audio recorder if you wanted to. Now, while the Mic 2 also supported 32-bit float, the Mic 3 now allows dual-file internal recording. That means it can save both the original unedited 32-bit float audio file and a processed 24-bit audio file at the same time. So if you just want to drop the audio into your video editor's timeline and not worry about levels or processing, the 24-bit file is ready to go. But if you want more flexibility, the 32-bit float audio file is still there as your safety net. The Mic 3 still offers the usual safety track feature which records a lower level backup track. Another thing also worth mentioning is that the internal storage has been upgraded to 32GB per transmitter. That's 4 times more than the Mic 2. So you can record internally much longer without worrying about running out of space. Speaking of recording time, the rated battery life is now 8 hours for the transmitters and 10 hours for the receiver, or 28 hours when combined with the charging case. As I've also mentioned in my other wireless microphone reviews, the battery life of wireless microphones these days are so good that battery life is rarely a problem anyway, so I didn't bother to test the battery life for this DJI Mic 3. But in case you manage to drain the battery completely when you are filming, or maybe you just forgot to charge it, both the transmitter and the receiver support fast charging. With a compatible charger, 5 minutes charging will give you 2 hours of battery life. Or you can charge up to 80% in just 18 minutes. And before you ask, no, the battery is not user replaceable, unfortunately. Another new feature that comes with the DJI Mic 3 is the adaptive gain control. And there are 2 different modes available. The one that I have just enabled is called automatic. So with this enabled, the microphone would adjust the gain level automatically for you even when you are recording, and this is to avoid clipping. So right now I'm just talking in normal voice, so there should be no clipping at all. But now I'm going to talk in very loud voice. So now I'm trying to talk as loud as possible, and the microphone, the adaptive gain control feature, would also try to adjust the gain level, so there should be no clipping at all. So this is a very useful feature because when you are recording, especially when you are outdoor doing vlogging, and the volume, the ambient noise and the way you talk might change quite a bit. So in the past, you may use the safety track feature to help avoid clipping, but the safety track still has a limited amount of volume that it can recover. Of course, you can use that 32-bit float audio recording to help avoid clipping, but if you want to avoid having to synchronize the audio file during post-processing to save some editing time, then this adaptive gain control feature would be very handy. The other adaptive gain control mode is called dynamic. According to DJI, this mode is designed for shooting interview with just one microphone. The problem with shooting interview with just one microphone is that the distance between the microphone and each of the person will be quite different, and also each person may be speaking in a different volume. So the result is usually one person will be much louder than the other person. So right now I have the DJI Mic 3 microphone transmitter mounted here. The good thing with the DJI Mic3 transmitter is that the clip itself is magnetic, so I can easily just attach it to this metal shelf. And I have not enabled the adaptive gain control. So if I just move slightly away from the microphone, and you will immediately hear my voice is a lot lower in terms of volume compared to when I was right next to the microphone. So now let me turn on the adaptive gain control. Alright, so now I have enabled the adaptive gain control, and now I'm back to very close to the microphone. And next I'm going to walk further away from the microphone. So I have been speaking in the same volume, but now it should be quite a bit louder compared to before when I was standing here, but without the adaptive gain control dynamic feature enabled. A single Mic3 receiver can pair with up to 4 transmitters at the same time, and one master receiver can connect with up to 7 sub-receivers. This gives you a lot more flexibility if you need to record multiple audio sources. For example, if you are doing an interview with several people. There's also the optional Sony Hotshoe adapter. If you use it with one of the latest Sony cameras that supports 4-channel audio recording, you can even record 4 separate audio tracks directly in camera, which is really handy as you have more flexibility with the audio when editing. Unfortunately, I don't have the gear to test these features myself, but assuming everything works as DJI claims, which it probably does, this could be incredibly useful for larger productions. Now DJI, if you are watching this, since many of the latest Panasonic cameras also support 4-channel audio recording, so it would be great if you guys can expand the 4-channel audio recording support to Panasonic bodies as well, especially since both DJI and Panasonic are part of the L-mount alliance. As expected, the DJI Mic3 is also part of DJI's Osmo audio family. So if you have one of the newer DJI cameras like the Osmo Pocket 3, Osmo 360 or Osmo Action 4 or 5 Pro, you can connect the Mic3 directly to one of these cameras without having to use any receiver or cable. And audio is transmitted in 48 kHz using Bluetooth connection. You can also directly connect the DJI Mic3 transmitter to your phone using Bluetooth, which means you do not have to use any receiver at all, which is what I am doing right now. I have the Mic3 connect to my iPhone 16 Pro to do the recording right now. But one thing is, if you do it this way, then the audio quality is limited to 16 kHz. So that means the audio quality wouldn't be quite as good. Okay, now I'm not using the Bluetooth connection anymore. Instead, I'm using the receiver with the USB dongle and physically plugging the receiver to my phone. If you do it this way, then you can have the best audio quality. Another advanced feature for the DJI Mic3 is timecode support. When the timecode function is enabled, the transmitter records timecode information during internal recording. The receiver also supports timecode input and output with a variety of output formats available. That means you can sync timecode between an external timecode source, the Mic3 receiver, the transmitters, your camera, including Osmo cameras that supports timecode, or even your phone. According to DJI, the system can maintain a drift of less than 1 frame over 24 hours. When the receiver is connected to the camera using a 3.5mm cable or Hotshoe adapter, the receiver can power off automatically when the camera is turned off, and then it will power on automatically when the camera is switched on. This is not a brand new feature, and there are other brands that also has this feature. But it is just such a handy feature, so I still want to mention it as there are still a lot of microphones that do not have this feature. Over the past few years, I have reviewed a lot of wireless microphones on this channel. So many, in fact, that these days I would turn down most of the wireless microphones review requests. It's because a lot of the microphones these days just feel the same to me. And if I'm not genuinely interested in a product, I just really don't want to spend a few weeks testing it. But when DJI reached out to me about the DJI Mic3, I actually pushed back some other reviews to make time for it. I'm very interested to see how their latest microphone performs. Now, after using the Mic3 for about a month, I totally understand why DJI's microphone have become so popular these days. It's simply a really well-designed wireless microphone system. From the build quality to the audio performance to the overall ease of use, everything feels thoughtfully executed. On paper, it might seem similar to other top-tier wireless microphones, but once you start using it, you will really begin to appreciate all the small details and the care that went into the design. On the downside, there is still a bright DJI logo on the front, and you guys know I'm not a big fan of having a big brand logo on microphones. Yes, you could put a black tape to tape it over or try to turn the microphone around, but these are workarounds. You cannot connect any external mic as there isn't any 3.5mm input on the transmitter. For myself, that's not really a big deal since I rarely use any external microphones. But a lot of my wedding videographer friends like to use lavalier mics since they are easier to hide, so that could be a major downside for them. But I understand DJI just tried to make the transmitter as small as possible, so it's kind of a design trade-off. If I had to point out one major complaint, it's this. With so many features and settings, like the new lossless transmission mode and the indoor-outdoor options, the DJI Mic3 is great for advanced users who know how to fine-tune everything. But for beginners, it might feel a bit overwhelming. Some people might even accidentally use the wrong settings without realizing it. Now, to be fair, that's not a problem that is unique to the DJI Mic3. It's something we are seeing more and more across modern camera gear and tech products. Tons of features, but also a steeper learning curve for new users. In my Holy Land Lark Max 2 review, I mentioned that the Lark Max 2 would become my new go-to wireless microphone. But after spending time with this DJI Mic3, I'm seriously rethinking that. I really like the Mic3's audio quality. It sounds much more natural to me with fewer digital artifacts. I also love the design of the charging case, which makes it super quick and easy to use when I'm shooting on location. And of course, we all know how seamlessly DJI gear works within their own ecosystem. Right now, I don't own a DJI camera that supports Osmo audio, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I end up picking up one soon. There are a few DJI cameras that I'm really interested in. That said, I do really like the HoloLens Lark Max 2's wireless monitoring earphone. It's just such a useful feature. But knowing I can rely on DJI Mic3's 32-bit flow internal recording as a fallback gives me a lot of confidence even if I can't monitor the audio easily. So in the end, the DJI Mic3's better audio quality and more user-friendly charging case design make the DJI Mic3 the better choice for me personally. But what about you guys? What are your thoughts on the DJI Mic3? And which wireless microphone do you think is the best on the market right now? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you are using.